I don't make a habit of responding to comments from MAGA idiots because I have more important shit to do than to be arguing with some brickhead that doesn't know what's really going on and that responds to everything with, that's fake news. But this comment was so idiotic, I had to respond. I wanted to show it to y'all because it puts the ignorance of these MAGA idiots on full display. And that's not all. I'm also going to talk about Trump selling us out to Putin. But first, hit the subscribe button and the bell so you'll be the first to know when we post. This is Pragmotiv News, and I'm Cam. Okay, so we here at Pragmotiv don't usually respond to stupid comments because it's not worth our time. There have been comments from horrendously ignorant individuals talking about my weight, voice, mannerisms, and I never cared. You can say whatever you want about me. I don't give a fuck. Never have, never will. If I cared, I wouldn't have been on YouTube at all. But every once in a while, some nincompoop leaves a comment that is so breathtakingly stupid that it warrants a response. Last night, I came across this gem on my video from last week. The comment said, quote, "I think you, sir, are so partisan you don't know what independents are thinking. A lot of us, even on the left, are fed up with Democrats and their stuffiness. We aren't fans of Republicans, but at least that policy is less intrusive than Dems. And it seemingly works. If you think there's doom for Republicans, you are extra delulu because people knew 4 years of Trump was hell, but so was 4 years of Harris. I don't know many that have changed their minds." Okay, motherfucker, I speak in facts. I don't put my name and brand to something that isn't factual. So you can call it partisan if you want to, but I'm looking at facts and the polls. The Republicans are doomed. Deal with it. Sorry, not sorry. I know exactly what real independents are thinking. They aren't rocking with this regime. The only, quote, delulu one here is you. Because you are claiming to be an independent, but it seems to me you are a closeted Republican masquerading as an independent. Any real independent would be horrified at what Trump is doing. And guess what? They are. According to YouGov, 62% of independents somewhat or strongly disapprove of ICE, when 79% of Republicans somewhat or strongly approve. So at this point, anyone who still approves of this administration and or who thinks Republicans have a snowball's chance in hell of keeping a trifecta after the midterms are as MAGA as it gets. You, my dim-witted friend, are MAGA. So stop lying. Saying Republican policies are less intrusive and that they seemingly work proves that you don't pay attention to what's going on. You don't get more intrusive than telling a woman who is miscarrying that she can't get a medically necessary procedure because of these stupid ass abortion laws enacted by Republicans. Republican men, I might add. So now she has to basically almost bleed out before doctors will do anything about it because they are too afraid to go to jail. You can't get more intrusive than living your life and having ICE ram into your vehicle because they think you are not a citizen, or pull guns on you and your kids for simply driving by them when they're doing one of their little raids. ICE literally just broke the window of this teenager who kept saying they were a citizen, and the agents say, "I don't care." They're just going after anyone who looks Latino. So basically, they're just going after brown people. And a vast majority of Americans are not okay with that. Therefore, they don't approve of this regime, and they won't vote for it in November 2026. You say Democrats are stuffy, so your alternative is to vote for Republicans who enact these policies that don't fucking work? Your ignorance is baffling. But since you and the vast majority of Americans seem to have short-term memory loss, let me give you a recap. Let's go all the way back to 1993. Bill Clinton inherited a bad economy from 12 years of Reagan and Bush and handed George W. Bush a good economy. W then tanked it with 8 years of bad policies and bad decisions. Then he hands it to Barack Obama to fix, which he did, and then handed Trump a booming economy in 2017. Then the orange bitch comes in and proceeds to tank it in a record 4 years and was kicked out of office for it by Joe Biden. Then Biden wasn't afforded 8 years to fix it like Obama was, because people like you can't seem to fucking remember who caused the economy to tank and place the blame accordingly. So you seem to think that President Biden had a magic wand and could fix all your problems with the flick of his wrist. But no, it don't work like that. All the pain that Americans have been feeling for some time now is a price they are paying for voting for Trump in 2016. Lord help people like you when the price for electing him in 2024 comes due. Because when it does, you are going to feel the worst of it. So y'all, I'm saying all this to say that people like this idiot piss me off because they don't seek the truth or try to expand their knowledge. So they operate on such limited information and they vote on that information, which is why they vote the way they do. They allow themselves time and time again to fall for the Republicans' BS and then have the nerve to talk like they know everything. They vote for Trump because they believe whatever talking point the Republicans make up. And now we have ICE running amok. The economy is going down the drain. The government is dysfunctional. We have a convicted felon president who has been mentioned multiple times in the Epstein files. And now this president that MAGA and people like this voted for is selling us down the river for his puppet master Putin by trying to force Ukraine to take this terrible deal. That brings me to the next point. The deal Trump is trying to force onto Ukraine is 28 points of bullshit. According to CBS News, the plan calls for the Ukrainian oblasts of Crimea, Donetsk, and Luhansk to be recognized by the U.S. and others as de facto Russian territory. Crimea was fully annexed by Russia in 2014, and the Russian military has occupied most of Donetsk and Luhansk, collectively known as the Donbass, since its full-scale invasion of Ukraine began in February 2022. The Trump-Russia plan also gives parts of the Donetsk that are still under Ukrainian control to Russia. So the war will basically be frozen at the current front lines in two other Ukrainian oblasts like Kherson and Zaporizhia, allowing Russia to hold on to cities like Mariupol and keep a land connection to their previously stolen land, Crimea. Plus, Ukraine would have to cap its military size to 600,000 people, and Ukraine cannot ever join NATO. Imagine someone breaks into your house and now the government is trying to force you to give half your house and stuff to the invader. Would you stand for that? I thought not. What pisses me off about this war is that MAGA and people like this who left that comment don't understand for almost 4 years now how important pushing back on Russia is. Russia winning that war has many implications that affect us more than you know. I don't know how it is that I can tell Putin wants world domination, but no one else does. He clearly wants to bring back the Soviet Union, which included multiple countries, including Ukraine, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Belarus, Estonia, Kazakhstan, Latvia, Lithuania, Moldova, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, and Georgia. No MAGA, not the state of Georgia, the country of Georgia. It's clear to me that Putin wants these countries back, including Poland. Poland was not a full member of the USSR, but it was controlled by it. Like how Putin is controlling Belarus. Russia is notorious for invading countries and installing puppet governments. That tells me that Putin will not stop at Ukraine. He will go after all of the territory that was once in the Soviet Union, which is the USSR, for those who don't know. Which means he will go after all of those countries I just mentioned, plus Poland, which will drag NATO and the United States into World War III. which will be far more costly than just simply defending Ukraine. And that's not even the only problem for us that I see on the horizon. China is watching what the US does regarding Russia and Ukraine because they want to invade Taiwan. So if the United States lets Russia win, then China will invade Taiwan. And if China is successful, it will have a devastating effect on our economy because China will be able to choke off our supply of semiconductors, which means our country will be plunged into pre-computer times. So all of these cars, Xboxes, iPhones, computers, AI, TikTok, and all of this other shit that we use on a day-to-day basis will not be updated with new technology because China will not allow the US to have access to TSMC and any other chip manufacturers. You remember the chip shortage? It's going to be that times a million. The US does not have that much of a semiconductor manufacturing scene here. That's why President Biden signed the Chips and Science Act to get the ball rolling to reduce our reliance on Taiwan. But that hasn't fully happened yet. So we need to be careful and elect people who understands this stuff. Everybody was mad at President Biden for defending Ukraine, but he was smart to do so because World War III will be far more costly. Like, comment, subscribe, and follow at Pragmotiv News everywhere to stay pragmotivated. Also, you can find us across every major platform like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Audible, and iHeartRadio so that you can listen to us even when you're out on the go. So head on over there and follow us and leave a review. It really helps us out. And until next time, peace.